Linda, good morning. I see this is for some concerns that you have about your son Marcus, and he's 12? Yes, he wouldn't come. I couldn't get him to, but he says there's nothing wrong. So I'm worried, though. Right. Look, the thing is, without Marcus here, I'm quite limited as to what I can actually do. I can't examine him, I can't really assess him. I know that. I just needed to talk to someone. He's barely eating, he's lost weight, I can see it. He's tired all the time, but he won't sleep until really late. And he used to be so when you say barely eating, what does that actually look like? Well, he might eat one proper meal a day, sometimes less. He just picks at things, and he used to have a massive appetite. He's a growing boy, or he was. He's not growing. I don't think he's grown in months. Well, adolescents can have significant changes in appetite and sleep patterns, and it's quite normal at that age. Listen, I know about normal. I've got two other children. This doesn't feel normal. Is he losing weight or is he just not gaining as you'd expect? Losing, I think. His clothes are looser, but he won't let me weigh him. And his mood? How does he seem generally? Flat, withdrawn. He used to play football 3 times a week and he just quit the team in March and he's just in his room, mostly on his phone. That's fairly typical adolescent behavior, particularly at his age. The withdrawal, the sleep changes, it's not uncommon. Dr. Patel, he's not the same child he was 6 months ago. I'm not describing a phase, I'm describing a change. Well, I hear that, but without being able to examine him or talk to him, there isn't a great deal I can do. The most useful thing would be to get him in here. I've tried. He refuses. He says he's fine. What do I do if he won't come? Well, you could try a school counsellor if you're genuinely concerned about his mental health. Your GP, that's me, can issue a mental health care plan. But again, that really does require Marcus to be present. And I can't do that for a child who isn't here. So there's nothing? Well, I wouldn't say nothing, but my hands are fairly tied without him in the room. Maybe try framing it as a checkup rather than a concern. Sometimes that makes it easier for kids to agree to come. Hey, Linda, good morning. Concerns about Marcus. He's 12. He's not with you today. No, he won't come. He says he's fine. Now, I want to be upfront about that. But I've been watching a specific set of changes for 6 months now, and I need help figuring out whether this is something we can begin to assess without him and what the pathway looks like to get him properly reviewed. All right, tell me what you're observing. 6 months ago, he was eating 3 full meals a day, playing football 3 times a week, sleeping by 10. He's now eating maybe one meal, sometimes less. His clothes are visibly looser. He's quit football. He's not sleeping until after midnight and then he won't get up. His energy is low and he's become quite socially withdrawn. He used to be an outgoing kid. I'm sure this is not just a phase. This is a documented change over a clear time period. I started keeping notes on my phone when I realized that this has been going on for more than just a few weeks. I can send you a screenshot. What I don't have is his weight because he refuses to be weighed. That's actually very useful, what you've described. The pattern you're outlining appetite suppression, energy drop, sleep disruption, and social withdrawal together that isn't something I'd dismiss as typical adolescent. The combination is worth investigating. That's what I needed to hear. What can we do from here without him physically present yet to start ruling things out? I could write a referral for bloods. If you could get him to a pathology centre without framing it as a GP visit, that might be easier to achieve. Standard adolescent panel, thyroid, full blood count, iron studies, vitamin D, blood glucose, that would roll out several of the more straightforward physiological causes. And what are we ruling out specifically? I want to be able to explain it to him in a way that doesn't feel like I'm treating him like a patient because I'm not his doctor, I'm his mother. Thyroid issues are common and very treatable. They produce exactly this kind of symptom picture. Iron deficiency, particularly in kids who stop eating well, can cause the fatigue and cognitive fog. Vitamin D deficiency affects mood. None of these require me to see him to test. And if the bloods come back clear, well, then we're looking at something more functional, mental health potentially. And at that point, we'd need him here. But if the blood shows something, we'll have a much easier conversation with him because we're not asking him to talk about his feelings. We're telling him his iron is low and here's how we'll fix it. That's often an easier entry point for adolescent boys. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Can I ask, if I can't get him to a collection centre either, what's the next step? I want to know the pathway so I'm not back at square one. Now, if pathology isn't achievable, the other route is through his school. Most secondary schools now have a student wellbeing coordinator and they can do informal check ins that feel less clinical to him. I can write a brief letter for the school to help facilitate that if that will help get that conversation happening. I'd really appreciate that. And I want to make sure I've comprehended correctly what you're saying. You're not dismissing this as normal adolescent behavior. No, the combination that you've described, it warrants investigation and you're right to be here. Ah, thank you. Thank you. That's genuinely thank you. That's what I needed. I'll send you the phone notes today and I'll work on getting him to the pathology centre this week. Thank you. Good. And if you hit a wall, come back. We'll find the next option. This conversation is one for every parent who has ever sat in a consulting room and been told to come back with a child who just won't come. Linda was advocating for someone who couldn't advocate for himself. And in the first version of that consultation, she led with her fear, which is completely human, and got back protocol. Protocol doesn't comprehend fear, it just runs its checklist. In the second version, she did three things differently. She led with observation, not emotion. She described a documented pattern, 6 months, specific behaviors, a clear before and after, not I'm worried. She gave the doctor something clinical to respond to, and she asked what was possible here and now, not what was impossible. She didn't accept, I can't do much without him here, as a full stop. She asked what could be done, and that question opened up pathways that were sitting right there, untouched. And she asked what she was ruling out, not just what she was looking for. That single question shifted the conversation from, is there a problem, to let's systematically work out what it is. That's the crew mindset. Not passive, not reactive, engaged, specific, and looking ahead. You are always the world's leading expert on your own body or on the child that you have raised. That expertise belongs in the room. Don't leave it in the car park. I'm Dr. Chen, medical longevity strategist, Wellbeing Holistic. Links in the bio.